Communication has always been an essential part of life as a human being. Humans are the only known species on Earth to have complex languages. It is only natural, as human civilization expands across vast stretches of uncharted land, to try to innovate and improve upon our existing communication methods. For thousands of years, human communication was limited by our relatively slow methods of transport across horseback and boat travel. However, in the early 19th century, a man known as Samuel Morse would change it all.
In 1791, Samuel Morse would be born to Jedediah and Elizabeth Morse as their first child. His parents were committed to making sure he had a good education and sent him to Phillips Academy, where he would have a less than desirable academic beginning. Regardless of the unfortunate grades, he had a very strong interest in art and was sent to Yale College. Even though he was pursuing a career in painting, he also studied chemistry, natural philosophy, and electricity. However, it wasn't until 1832, after founding a company, running for New York's mayoral office twice, and 3 inventions patents, that Morse would become interested in telegraphy. In fact, his idea for the first telegraph model was inspired by a conversation about electromagnetism Morse overheard while on a ship heading for the United States. Despite his lack of training in electricity, he spent 5 years developing a working model of the electric telegraph. Thanks to recent inventions created during the Industrial Revolution, such as the battery and electromagnets, Morse was able to put together a good working one-wire telegraph after years of development and iteration. Now, he simply had to get people to use it.
In 1942, Morse was able to secure 30,000 of American federal funds to support his plan to lay a foundation of wires throughout the U.S. Only 12 years later, 23,000 miles of telegraph were laid and under operation. 2 years after, Morse performed a public demonstration of the telegraph by transmitting a message from Baltimore to Washington. 8 years after, there was the first transatlantic telegraph link.
The telegraph saw multiple innovations throughout its lifetime. It relied on a few key mechanical and electronic principles that were present, at least to some extent, in every single telegraph. These principles can be seen most clearly in this model of telegraph. To use this telegraph, the operator of the telegraph must know Morse code, a system of communication that is based off of 2 signals, a long signal and a short one. When combining these signals in a specific order according to Morse code, they spell letters and words. The signals are entered through the press of a button, known as the telegraph key. The telegraph key connects 2 pieces of metal when it is pressed down. This closes the circuit with a battery, meaning that any electrical device connected to the circuit is now electrically charged. On the other end of the circuit resides a receiver, which uses an electromagnet to pull down a pen onto paper. When the circuit is closed by the press of a key, it activates the electromagnet and pulls down the pen onto the paper. This paper is now referred to as a telegram.
As telegraph wires began to spread all over the world, it began to have major impact on many industries and operations happening at the time. Newspapers were able to report on information quickly and over long distances. Banks were able to authorize instantaneous transfer of money, and war generals were able to coordinate attacks and receive information directly from the battlefield instantaneously. The telegraph also increased westward migration and even facilitated growth in the railroads. A telegraph network was even built in Africa by the British to help connect their colonial territories. In summary, the telegraph was crucial in facilitating communication across long distances and had a profound impact on the time it was invented as well as the future.
During its reign of the communication industry, the telegraph had a strong foundation, all interconnected across the globe. Eventually, when newer, easier-to-use technologies such as the radio and telephone were invented, the telegraph's strong grip on the world of communication industry would fade away gradually. However, the electronic nature of the new methods of communication allowed for easier integration into the previous framework of the telegraph. In fact, modern technology such as the internet would not be possible without the many aspects of the telegraph, such as communication protocols, Wi-Fi infrastructure, message handling, and many other factors. The telegraph, although viewed as outdated and useless in the modern day, was one of the most important inventions of the Industrial Revolution. It facilitated everything from money transfer to warfare. Even the code that the telegraph communicated in, Morse code, is still taught as an easy communication system between long distances. The telegraph, although it's relatively dead nowadays, its spirit and technology lives on in our devices and infrastructure, as well as our hearts.